Good life, the good life, yeah. I ain't gotta worry about a thing. Oh no. Had some obstacles I overcame. Oh yeah. You don't have to ever be the same. Oh Lord. Cause when we change the mind, we change the game. Coming through clutch. Coming through clutch. Coming through clutch. Coming through clutch.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome, everybody to the Kenneth Allen Thomas Show. Let's go, y'all. Listen, everybody, we are live. We are ready to go. We ready to rock. I am your host, Kenneth Allen Thomas, and my co-host right here, my man Nick Mingle. God still. What up, fellas?
What up? What up? What up? What up? How we doing?
Hey man, we ready to go. We ready to go. We got the chat already on. The chat is on fire right now already.
Word.
My man King Legend is in the building and everything. King Legend is out here. Let's go. My man
Let's go.
Daniel's in here. Let's go. We ready to bring that heat. Listen,
Y'all ready?
fellas,
What
fellas,
up?
first of all, how was y'all week? How was y'all week? Last week? How was it? Nick, where were you at?
And listen, it's been good, man. I ain't got no complaints. You know what I'm saying? We riding out right now, so I'm good.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. What about you, guy? What's up?
Hey man, update on my daughter. She went to ESPN Sports Zone in Orlando, Florida. She worked out with her high school softball team for a week and she got back safe to me. So thank God for that.
Praise
Love
God
it.
for that. Praise
Yes,
God for
sir.
that. Let me hold on. Let me go ahead and get the horn for that. The horn for that. The horn for that. Listen, my wife is on. My wife is on. So we
What
gotta we
up,
gotta make
Josie?
sure we gotta cheer for the wife. We
What
gotta
up? What
cheer
up,
for the
Josie?
wife. We
What
gotta
up?
cheer for the wife. Amen. Listen, everybody. Welcome to the Kentown Thomas Show, guys. Tonight we are going to be talking about battling through a storm. We are storm tested individuals, and we're going to show you guys how to lead through a storm. And lately, the storm thing has really been on my heart. It's really been on my mind. I actually even just recently, y'all. I don't know if y'all seen it yet, but I wrote an ebook, a little small ebook, 3-chapter ebook. It's on the Kenneth Allen Thomas .com. You guys can go ahead and check that out right there, and go ahead and make sure you get that. It's called Make Your Next Move Your Best Move, How to Lead Through a Storm. So y'all go ahead and make your next best move and go ahead and get that ebook out there. All right. So
Make
listen,
your next move your best move. Let's go.
let's go. So listen, y'all. We talking about these storms, all right? We talking about these storms, and it seems like since 2020, it's always been something, right? And even before that, it's always been something. But it just seems like now it's been magnified on a much bigger level, from marriages to work to politics to communities to churches to faith. Like all these different storms are happening kind of at the same time, right? And I want to start off tonight's conversation talking about the difference between a rock, building your foundation on a rock and building your foundation on sand, right? And I know we've had this discussion before, but you know, how important is it? I'm gonna start off with Guy this time. How important is it, Guy, to start to build that foundation so much on a rock versus the sand, my brother?
I mean, listen, um, sand is just not a sturdy foundation at all.
Mm,
When we talk sand, um, we talk about things that aren't going to stand the test of time.
right.
When we talk about rock, we talk about that strong foundation that is going to last through anything, right?
Mm,
I want one that is not just going to ride out with me, when things are good, but when things are rough. And so
mm-hmm,
you gotta
mm-hmm.
if you want that in the long run, if you want that long standing, you gotta have that faith, and you definitely gotta build on top of something that's gonna last throughout, not only when it's good, but when the rain comes too.
Right, right. Check this out though. Like we got teenagers, right? We got teenagers. I'm gonna drive it to the kids and everything for a second here. We got teenagers, and we also are all leaders where we got people that's under us as well too. And when we oftentimes give directions on certain things, it's not because we are saying, "Hey, we want you to do it, my way," right? We just know a better way to do things. And a lot of times some people don't want to take our advice on be it that because of their experience in their possibly immaturity, where they want to build on that sand because they may think that it's easier. But the reality is that that storm is going to hit the sand and it's going to hit rock. The difference is that the rock is probably going to be a little bit more sturdier than the sand, like you said, Guy. So Nick, what are some ways that people can how can we direct people to understanding on how important it is to build on that rock versus the sand?
I think I mean, look, what comes to my mind,
Mhm,
is a song, right? On Christ, the solid rock I stand, right? All
mhm,
other ground is sinking sand. And
mhm,
so to me, I think paying attention to the idea that if you really want to be grounded and you want
mhm,
to be able to stand the test of time when it comes to storms, you
mhm,
have to first try to be like Christ.
mhm,
And then you also have to rely on Christ. You have to rely on what you know,
mhm.
because he is the one that's going to get you through.
Right.
My father-in-law is a preacher, and he always has a saying. He says, "You're always either coming out of a storm, you're in a
Mhm.
storm, you know what I'm saying, or you're getting ready to go into one, right? Because
Come
that's
on
just
now.
the cycle of life, right?
Right.
And so,
Right.
with that being the case, you got to look at where are you grounded now, because if you think about it, you have to build before the storm comes. You
Mm.
can't wait till the storm
Mm.
is already there for you to then say, "Let me now try to build," right?
Mm.
And so, when you think about it, you have to say, what am I building my understanding on? Right?
Right.
Because in all that getting, the Bible tells us to get understanding. So the question is, what are you building? Are you trying to build understanding? Because guess what? Any storm that you reach, right? Any storm that comes upon you, if you understand what you're facing, you then figure out how to maneuver through that storm,
Right.
right?
Mm.
And so when you talk about being a solid rock, sometimes it isn't about being a rock that just sits while the storm passes by.
Mm.
Sometimes you have to be like that individual who's managing the ship in the storm. And
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm.
that, you got to know when to turn your sails. You got to know when to let them down. Sometimes you got to know when you got to let the waves just kind of take you through,
Come
right?
on now.
And so if you have that understanding of how to maneuver through different types of storms, because what you're doing is you're building a life of understanding. When that
Wow.
storm hits you, you'll be able to maneuver through because you will have a solid foundation underneath you.
Mm.
You
Let
know,
me
but
Yeah.
go ahead, now go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, no, no, no. I want see that's good because it kind of leads me to my first point of tonight, right? Is number one, when you're going through a storm, when you're going through this dark place that you're about to face, right? One of the key things that I want to teach you guys tonight, everybody that's watching, and make sure y'all share this with your mommy, your daddy, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your grandpa, abuela, abuelo, all right, is how to respond in the right way.
Mm.
Remain sober minded. Right? It's point number one tonight, y'all. Somebody put that in the chat. Remain sober minded, right? Because like Nick said, either you're coming out of a storm, you're in a storm, or you're going into a storm, right? And you guys want to remain sober minded. Now, what happens while you're in all of that? Emotions flare up, right? That emotional that as human beings we get so emotional and we get all crazy, right? So either you're going to stay focused or you're going to be drunk off your emotions, right? You're going to be drunk off your emotions. Y'all know, fellas, y'all know how it go, right? We get into our feelings. We get all like into our feelings, and it's all about me, 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 or I want to do this, or I want to do that, right? Yesterday, I told Keller Williams, I was speaking for Keller Williams yesterday, and I use this analogy where, think about it, we get so emotional when storms hit, but not knowing that people had told us about the storm prior to.
Where
Like
it
the
came.
forecast told us, hey, a
True.
storm is coming, right?
True.
Beware. But we want to go into the storm anyway. It's like, ladies out there, what do y'all do? Y'all, this man is all about me. He's the one for me. He's the one, like this is my man, blah, 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 blah. And he's a psychopath, right? Like straight up, like boy, crazy out here.
Mm-hmm.
He'll show you everything that you want,
Mm-hmm.
but people are telling you, hey, watch out for dude. He's nuts, but you don't want to listen and you get in your feelings and you get so emotional and you're not staying focused and you're not sober minded. You get drunk off your emotions, and therefore you're building your house on sand instead of that firm foundation in a rock, right?
I
Same
think,
thing
but
for
I
the
think
story.
that's why I think it's important, right? I mean, I think
Yeah,
one of our people in the chat, right? I want to get the person's name right. I think
Joan.
Joanne, right, or
Yeah,
Joan, right?
yeah,
Joan,
Joan.
right? She said, I actually learned to not respond,
Mm,
right? And that's that aspect that you're talking about, Kenny. If you're sober minded, you realize that not every situation requires you to say something. Not
come on
every
now.
situation requires you to utter a response, because guess what? In the moment and at the time, the response that you're going to give may not be the response that you need to give. So
Right.
sometimes what
Hmm.
you need to do is process, think about it, and then figure out, okay, how do you deal with it? Because guess what? If you think about a storm, right? If you respond like if you think about like when it's going to snow, right? I'll take that as an
Right,
example. You
right.
have to understand when you have to respond to how much snow you're going to get.
Oof.
Because
Yeah.
if they tell you it's about to be 10 inches and you
Hmm.
go out there and you try to shovel when it's 2 inches and you break your back, you know what I'm saying? Guess what?
Yep.
You're going to be right back out there, you know what I'm saying? When you got 8 more inches to go. When they tell you
Right.
that it's going to be 5 feet, I see some of my neighbors, they go out there and they're like, oh, well, I like to shovel a little bit at a time so that I don't have to be out there. Good. Because guess what? They understand that, yo, if I can take care of it a little bit at a time, then guess what? At the end of the day, I'm not going to be out there stuck trying to figure out how to shovel. So again, those two instances are different. 5 feet of snow versus 10 inches of snow. 10 inches of snow, yeah, I can wait. I can wait till
Right.
it's done, and then
Right.
I get it one time, knock it out. But if you're telling me I got 5 feet of snow coming, I gotta know. All right, once it gets to a foot, maybe a foot and a half, I gotta go out there and clear it out, because guess what? Last thing I want is 5 feet of snow, and I'm out there trying to shovel all day, trying to figure out how to move it. Right?
Mm,
So it's about understanding the dynamic of what you're is. So what does that mean? That means that you have to be clear in your thoughts. You have to be sober minded in how you're going to respond. Don't be drunk
yes.
off of emotion of just, oh, well, I got to get out there and I got to get it. And you're responding erratically. And it's just kind of like, calm down,
Yeah.
calm down. Take a
Yeah.
second. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Once you process what's happening, now you can come up with a game plan, right? So if I
Mm,
know it's going to be 5 feet of snow, guess what? I got my boots ready. I got my
yeah.
shovel ready. I got my gloves ready. I got my hot chocolate ready because I'm going to be
Right.
cold, right? So I got all
Right.
of that ready so that I can figure out what it is that I need to do. And if I ain't got it, I know the missus got me in the background making sure that it's all set. So you got to think about that, which then leads to the next point. Who do you have behind you? Who do you have
Ooh.
with you?
Stop,
Come
stop,
on
stop,
now.
stop, stop,
Come
stop.
on now. Come
You know
on
what
Let's
I'm
now.
saying?
go.
Go
You
ahead. Go
know, you
ahead,
got you
guy.
got to you got to you got to think about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, guy, let's go.
Listen, the spirit was talking to me. The spirit was talking to me, and you just kind of segue right into it, right? Not only is God the rock, right? But it says he's the strong tower. Strong
Mm,
towers, right? They're not built with one rock. It's rock on top of rock on top of rock on top of rock, right? So you have to be careful who you have around you, right? It's not just what you say, it's how you say it, right? But there are people that God put around you, right? To build that strong tower
right.
on, right? And if you don't have strong people around you, your foundation is weak, right? So it is important who's saying what to you, how they're saying it. But look, that tower is built with more than one rock. And so
Mm,
those people around you, like you fellas are, to me, help me build on top of that solid foundation, right? So
mm.
what you say and how you say it, but also where you're getting your information from.
Right. Right. Now I wanna bring it right here, right? I wanna check I wanna switch it up just a little bit. Check it out, y'all. Like, now we talking about how we have people that are going through so much that they don't even see that they're in a storm that they don't even know that they're in, right?
Mhm.
They so drunk off emotion that is crazy. And let's take, for example, people in the workforce, right? I read a stat yesterday that 81%, right, of people since 2020 have been going through anxiety, depression, and all these different things because and they're not showing up to work. It's causing them to miss work. They're so deep in a storm because they're not taking care of their well-being, right? They're not taking care of who they are. They're not putting themselves first. The average person when I did this, this exercise yesterday with a well-being checker, and the average person put their self fourth on that list, right, out of 5. And what's crazy, matter of fact, let me do this for y'all. I'm gonna give y'all this video and I want y'all to respond to it. All right. I didn't prepare y'all for this on purpose, but I want y'all to check this out. This is from yesterday's event. I was at Keller Williams. I had the opportunity to speak for their realty company out in Newtown, Pennsylvania. And those that are in the chat, I want you guys to listen to this stat right here. Check this. How many people have been burned out since 2020? Let's be honest. My man in the back, I see you. Okay. Burned out. 81% of workers are burned out since 2020 going to 2021. 2/3 of employees say they are stressed out at work, and 81% of those workers said that symptoms range from fatigue, anxiety, physical ailments, causing them to miss work. Right? That's a crazy stat right there. 81%. What are we not doing? We're not taking care of our well-being. We're putting work before life. See, we have this thing called work-life balance. Everybody say work-life balance. Okay? But let me ask you a question. What's your name? Megan, let me ask you a question, Megan. In that term, work-life balance, what word comes first? Work. Why does work come first, right? Before you knew what work was, what came first? Life. Think about that, right? We live in a world where it's all about the work-life balance thing, and we have people that are trying to tell us, you got to make sure your work-life balance is okay. I believe work-life balance is a lie. Call me crazy, but it's a bold-faced lie, okay? Life comes first, okay? Then the work. The work is always going to be here. There's always going to be work. But what's not always going to be here is your life.
Woo! That's powerful.
Now,
that's powerful.
All right, so I'm gonna give y'all the floor and everything. Y'all go ahead and respond to that and everything. What are y'all thoughts on that theory?
I was about to throw my shoe at you through the screen. It was heavy. No, it was heavy. It was heavy because work-life balance. I have a big problem with that myself. Some people say there's no such thing as work-life balance. Just work yourself into the. Listen, what people don't understand is we spend so much time being something and someone for someone else, whether it be work, professional, whether it be personal, relationships. We spend so much time being something or someone for somebody else that we lose ourselves, right? And so what's crazy is that we have to put ourselves first. And I mean, your stat said it, and the information says it. But I think that what happens when we're sober-minded, we start listening to anything and anyone.
Yeah.
And we're not sober. When we're not sober-minded, we start reacting and responding to every little thing that is going on around us, right? And so that's why it's so important to stay sober-minded, even in the work and the life. Don't lose yourself.
Amen. My wife just put it right here. Even if you're here physically, you can be MIA emotionally and not being able to perform your work duties to your fullest capabilities. Come on now. I should have had her on the show today.
Yo, listen. So it's crazy that, how things sync up. So literally today, about maybe 5:00 this evening, I had a meeting, and the main thing that my boss was pushing, right? There was maybe like about 130 of us on a call. And my boss was pushing, listen, we have to strike a balance, right? And he said it. He said, lean more towards yourself than your work, right? Because he has epilepsy and literally was working so hard, didn't realize it, had a seizure, and then started like repeating things, right? Repeating words that he was saying and didn't realize it, had to go to the doctor, and the doctor said that, yeah, you know what's going to cause it? He said, lack of sleep. My boss was like, yep, check. He was just like, all right, stress. My boss was like, yep, check. He was just like, unhealthy eating. My boss was like, yep, check. And all these things he's not supposed to do because he already has an underlying condition, right? But here it was, he was putting life, he was putting other people, he was putting everyone else before himself and not taking care of himself, right? And then it landed him in the hospital. Now he's in the hospital, and guess what he's saying? Well, I can't do this for this person. I can't do this for that person. I can't. Exactly. So the reality is, if we work too much, if we do too much for other people and don't strike a balance in taking care of ourselves, all of that work that we do is going to be for nothing because you're not going to be able to continue it. So we have to learn how to say, all right, how am I taking care of myself, right? Yes, I know that I got a deadline or something that I need to meet, but I also got to eat breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yes,
Not
I gotta
yeah.
get to work on time. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be late. I didn't wake up as early as I needed to. Okay, well I gotta let somebody know. You know what? I'm gonna be late because I need to do X, Y, Z, or I gotta get a drink of water, something. We have to work on striking that because when we don't, all we do is in a lot of cases, if we think about it, we put that undue pressure on ourselves,
Mm.
right?
True.
Because
It's
all
true.
it takes is for us to communicate, and what we do is we'd rather yield to what other people want us to do than to have that uncomfortable conversation
Come
to
on,
say,
bro.
guess what? I gotta put me first just for a second. So
Exactly.
Mm.
that may have to have you wait just so that I could put myself first.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
don't want to do that. So we'll suffer. We'll rush to go to work, risk getting into a car accident, right? We won't eat breakfast, won't eat lunch, and then we
Yeah.
running through, got a headache, got a migraine, all that kind of stuff. It's like, yo, we got to do a better job of taking care of ourselves and
Right.
figuring that out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Either you got to make a plan, and again, it goes back to planning. It goes back to
Mm.
where's your foundation? Where's your rock for you to take care of yourself so that you can take care of other people? I'm not telling you don't do that. Take care of everybody that you know you need to take care of. Your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your uncle, your abuela, your abuelo. Do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
All
I'm
of
saying?
them.
But
Take care of all
before
of them.
you get there, take care of yourself. Because guess what? If you don't take care of yourself, you may bring the entire family down because you're not
True.
taking care of you.
Exactly, yo.
There goes that
And
lack of foundation.
right, that lack of foundation. And now check this out, right? So now that brings us to setting the tone. You got to set the tone for yourself. You got to be a tone setter and not a tone breaker,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got to be a tone setter and not a tone breaker, which means great leaders do these things well. And I want to put everybody on notice real quick. Everybody is a leader. Let me put that out there. There's leadership inside everyone. The fact
Mhm.
is that you choose to be a leader or not, right? So
True.
let me say this, right? Great leaders, I learned that great leaders do these things well, right? They pay close attention to detail, right? They pay close attention to detail and they prepare very, very well, right?
Mhm.
It's preparation and attention to detail. Those are the things, right? Now, are you able to some of us pay attention to detail and we are prepared for everyone else but ourselves,
Mhm.
right? We're prepared for everybody else. We're prepared for our husbands, we're prepared for our wives, prepared for our children, we're prepared for work, but us. And here's why I say that. 80% of American women, let me just go women. I'm not even talking about the men. 80% of American women believe in self-care. Yet the same amount of women don't do it. Don't do
Wow.
it. Don't do it. And here's the
Wow.
thing. Here's the thing. Those same amount of women, right? 76% of them, right, spend 10 hours a day serving everybody else but themselves,
Right.
right? They serve. Listen, ladies that are on here right now, tell me I'm lying. You spend about 10 hours a day serving everybody else but you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I gotta tell my wife to go to the gym or go run or go do something for you. No, you're not going to do that right now, right?
Right.
You have to go. You have
Right.
to, right? Otherwise, because they women are nurturers, yo. They want to make sure that everybody else is okay before them. But ladies, how can everybody else be okay if you're not okay,
Well, Kenny, you on
right?
the hook now. She said book me a massage tomorrow. So you better make that phone call, brother. Don't go to
ASAP.
sleep. You better book that appointment.
ASAP. ASAP. We booking it.
Right,
We
there she
booking
go.
it now, Josie. We booking it now. I don't want my
Listen,
man to
listen.
get in trouble.
I'm
We
I'm
booking it
I'm
now.
I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. We gonna talk. Give you 2 minutes. Go ahead. Start setting up that
Right.
text
Play a
message. You
video.
know what
Play
I'm
a commercial. Something. He needs to
How
book
about
this now.
hey, listen, how about y'all donate to the show? You know what I'm saying? And I'll get my wife a whole massage for the year. Let's
Oh, here
go.
we
Hey.
go. Here we go. Listen,
Hey.
now he put it out on y'all. YouTube, y'all got some work to do. Let's go.
You know what I mean? Go
Hey.
ahead. Go ahead.
Nah,
Boom. There y'all go.
but listen, it's
Play,
true.
play one of
It ain't.
those. Play one of
It
those
listen.
sounds for him.
It's not a falsehood, right? It's that aspect of think about when you see parents at times, right? They make sure that their kids are looking fly, dressed well, or whatever the case is sometimes, and then they come out looking shabby, and it's just kind of like, yo, what happened, right? And
Mm,
you got so much going on, so much that they taking care of that they don't take that kind of time for themselves, you know.
mm,
And it's important for us to think about that, right? Again, going back to how do you build that foundation? Take time to understand how you can strike that balance between yourself and other people, right? Figure out how you can strike that balance between work and other people. I mean, what you said in the video, listen, there's always going to be work, you know, and if you're like me, you are a workaholic, right? And if you're a workaholic, you know what I'm saying? Yes, I can admit it. You know what I'm saying? Workaholics Anonymous. I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. You know what I'm saying? I probably got some work I got to do after we're done here until about 12 in the morning, you know.
Hashtag my guy, because that's what we do.
But what I've also learned, right, is I got to work on getting sleep. And so now, okay, I start looking at, okay, how much sleep do I need to function, right? I was at an event recently where they were talking about men's health. And the reality is you got to figure out, are you that individual that needs 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, or 9 hours of sleep, right? You got to know yourself. Again, that's building that foundation so that you could be in a solid place where you understand that if I don't get 7 hours of sleep, me functioning at an optimal level is not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you realize that, guess what? I only have 5 hours of sleep. Well, guess what? Before you even go to bed the night before, you got to look at what's going to happen. So you know what kind of day it's going to be based on the sleep that you did or you did not get, right? Then you got to pay attention to, what are you eating, right? Are you eating the way that you need to? So again, it all goes to what kind of foundation are you building? Because grabbing them muffins out of the package and saying that you're going to eat that, and then all of a sudden an hour later, you wonder why you feel sluggish. You ain't really feed yourself with what was necessary, right? So now I'm going to take it to, now let's think about your mind. When you start thinking crazy thoughts, when you start thinking about things that have you going in the wrong direction, right? When you start wondering, why are these things entering into my mind? You got to think to yourself, what are you feeding your mind? What are you watching on TV? What are you listening to on the radio? Who are you talking to, right? What the guy said earlier, you know, you want to build a solid foundation, you got to think about who you connected to. Some of those toxic people that you connected to, you got to break that connection. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? If they shaky, guess what they trying to do? They trying to bring you down. You know, we talking about sand, that's called quicksand. You know, they're trying to bring you down. So you got to pay attention to all those different things and figure out what kind of foundation am I building around me? If it ain't solid, you got to start discarding some of those things. You got to put them away and start building some clay and start hardening it so that you can start to have a better foundation than what you currently have. And you got to look at the different aspects of your life to figure out, how do you do that?
Yeah, I love it. I mean,
hold up,
listen,
yo, Guy, let me ask you a question, Guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
How much sleep do you get?
Not much, not much. I'm busy all the time, but
how much sleep do you get? No. How much sleep do you get?
I would say maybe 4 to 5 hours a night.
You bugging?
Hey, bro, I got a lot going on, man.
No, I gotta listen. Hold up. I got 4 kids and a dog. All right. Hold up, B. Hold up.
Hey,
And I'm getting at least 7.
I told you, I'm listening, man. I'm in that team. I'm in that barrel of like trying to get right. That's why we here, right? We all trying to get right. We are human. All the viewers out there, we are human. We are sharing the same problems.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So everybody, listen, everybody on the live right now. First and foremost, you know, this our brother right here. So me and Nick, from now on, all right, we're making it known that we are going to make sure that Guy still is in bed. All right. No later than 10:30. No later. You got a bedtime.
Wait. Hold up. The question is this: how many hours of sleep do you need to function at an optimal level?
Good question.
I would say maybe 6.
Okay. So that's your goal. That right now, that's your goal. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you got going on, I understand. It's all important, but that's your goal. Your goal is 6 hours. However you get it, either on the front end or the back end. You know what I'm saying? 6 hours.
Yeah,
That's
like
right.
I sleep a little bit in between the different like jobs and different things that I do and try to get, you know, a nap here and a nap there. I think what's important to me though is not just it's really what you said. It's not just performing, right? It's performing at your optimal level, right? Your maximum level. How can you get the most out of your day? How can you serve? If you want to serve, obviously you can't serve anybody if you can't serve yourself. But let's just say you're good, you're okay, you're just okay, enough for yourself. how much do you have for anybody else that you're trying to serve? You talk
Right.
about women and you talk about how much they, serve everybody else. I know they're exhausted. They're exhausted.
Right. Right.
And
Listen.
that's the reason why we got to start figuring out, right? What are those things that are blocking us from being at that optimal level, right? Because again, if we want to talk about a solid foundation, we got to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
To the point that Kenny was saying earlier, there's no reason why none of us can, we can't perform at that optimal level. There's no
Right.
reason why anybody should say, oh, well, I'm trying to be the best of my job, but then you work in 15-hour days. Like, no, then you're not the best at your job. Because at
Right.
some point, you got to be able to say, I did what I needed to do for today. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so now that I've done it, I got to cut that off. And now I got to start doing the other things that I need to do to take care of myself, going to the gym, eating healthy,
There it is.
playing with your family. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, me and my family going to Disney, that's what brings me joy. That
Yeah.
helps me to kind
Yeah.
of break up whatever the case is and do what I got to do. So guess what? Yeah, we plan when we going to Disney, and it's just like, yo, regardless of how much job, how much work, the girls got dance, they got school. Look, I know school is important, but even before school, if we planning that family trip, we're planning that family trip. School's gonna have to be put to the side because I'm trying to teach my kids balance. If you think about how many days they go to school, you trying to tell me they can't miss a day here or a day there so that they can get some time to rest and retreat and reprieve as well? It's
Right.
necessary. So if that's what works for us, then that's it. You got to figure out what works for you because
What
if you
works for
want to
you?
be in that solid foundation, you got to
Right.
start building that. But if you're not building it, then what are you doing? You are just in sand. All you're doing is just moving things around. That's it. If you in sand, think about it. You move it around, and what happens? The sand comes right back, right?
The
It
same
doesn't go
one,
anywhere.
get
You
right
move it
back.
all around,
Right.
it comes right back, right? And what happens? Next thing you know, your feet are buried in the sand, and you're trying to figure out
Yep.
how to dig them out.
Gotta
No,
dig
you
them
got
out.
to start actually building something and building a solid foundation that you can stand
Them
on
rocks
so
don't
that guess
move.
what? You can start getting to that higher level. So when that storm
Exactly.
comes, that strong tower that guy was
Amen.
talking about earlier, Jesus is
Mm.
with you because guess what? You're trying to be a better person, which is all
Right.
that he's calling for all of us to do.
Right.
Let's
But
seg.
listen, I got
Yeah.
one last thing to say about it. Don't
Go ahead.
condition because this is something I do. You know what I mean? This is something I'm relating to the viewers. I'm telling you, do not condition yourself to believe that just because you've achieved all your goals throughout the day, that it's okay, right? So what I do is my mind is conditioned to say, oh, well, I'm okay with 4 or 5 hours of sleep because I did everything I had to do, but I'm still exhausted doing it, right?
Mm.
So don't condition yourself to believe that just because you've accomplished what you needed to accomplish, that your self-health is not still at stake. And so I'm telling you, I'm a proponent of it. I live this way. But I'm telling you, listen, try to stay with that, working out like Nick said, eating right, and getting enough sleep.
Right. Facts. Facts. I want to segue, y'all. I want to segue, and this is where we probably gonna step on some people's toes, right? So
Go get them.
the number three thing tonight in how to lead through a storm is the inner circle, right? Who's in the inner circle? Who are those people that will be rocking with you, right, in the storm? Or who are the people that you know for a fact that they not gonna be rocking with you? They won't even hand you an umbrella, right? They ain't gonna hand you an umbrella. They ain't gonna give you a raincoat. They ain't gonna give you a shovel. They ain't even gonna help you shovel out. Listen, when the snowstorm hits in Jersey, automatically me, Josie, Caleb, and JJ, we all go out, and the two neighbors that's next to us, we handle their snow plus ours, right? We dig them out. Wow, because Miss Marianne is like 76 years old, B. Like, yo, she lives by, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want her, having to worry about, shoveling herself out. You know what I'm saying? Or my man Roto. My man Roto, you know what I'm saying? He be in and out and everything as well, too. Like, I don't think he got sons and everything over there. So you know what? Yo, let me go ahead and dig Roto out. So it's like we gotta understand that the inner circle is so important, right?
Mhm.
And we can't be afraid. I'm gonna say this right now. You can't be afraid to cut somebody off that
Go
you
ahead.
know is not gonna be with you in the storm. I'm gonna say that again. You cannot be afraid to cut somebody off that you know that's not gonna be with you in the storm, when the times get rough, when the winds get heavy, when the thunder start hitting? Are they going to be there? Who are those people? You got to start evaluating people like your life depended on it, because it really, really does, yo. Because what's going to happen is you're going to go through a flood, and guess what? They're going to be in an airplane, right?
There you
And
go.
they ain't going to give you a call. They're going to sit there and let you know that they're on the runway. They're going to let you know none of that. They ain't even going to send you a plane ticket ahead of time, because they knew the flood was coming, but they didn't want to sit there and bring you up on a private jet with them, right? So who are those people that's gonna rock with you? I can definitely say that my brothers here, you know what I'm saying, will rock with me throughout the storm. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. If I really needed like some like, yo, we on the last leg, y'all. I know these guys right here will be there. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? But why is it? Here's the question. Why is it that people have such a hard time cutting off people and hurting other people's feelings when their feelings are getting hurt as well too?
That's good. Go ahead, Nick.
I it goes back to what I said. We don't like being in uncomfortable situations,
Woo.
Mm,
right?
That right there is
So
a word.
so you don't want to have to tell mom that the way that she's behaving is not okay.
mm,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to have to tell your brother, yo, you're not treating me like a brother. You're treating
mm,
me like you're my enemy. You know what I'm saying? You
mm,
don't want to tell your sister, yo, you stab me in the back one too many times. Like, I can't keep interacting with you that way. You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? You're afraid to tell your grandmother, yo, you can't talk to my kids that way.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? But these are the things that we need to do. You know what I'm saying? You're afraid to tell your husband, yo, you can't be barking at the kids like that. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
You're afraid to tell your wife, yo, stop laying your hands on the kids. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
We're afraid to have these conversations. So what we do is we'd rather internalize so many different things rather than saying, you know what? I see who has my back and I see who doesn't, right?
mm.
Because what happens now is in those uncomfortable conversations, you got to then confront people and put them in the spotlight where now they have to account for what they're doing or not doing. And we don't want
Yeah,
to do that.
you
Why?
don't want to do it.
Because we're afraid of that fact that, well, this may drive a wedge in our relationship where I'm now going to have an unhealthy relationship. But if you pay
Right.
attention to it, it's already unhealthy. So by you
Right.
saying
Right.
something, that's actually trying to make it a healthy relationship because now you're being honest about what's going on. But if
Mm-hmm.
you keep lying, I tell my wife all the time, I say, listen, I'm never ever going to tell you that something that you made for dinner is good if it's not,
Mm-hmm.
right? And likewise, I don't want you to lie to me and tell me that what I made for dinner is good if it's not. Because guess
Right.
what? If you tell me that the lasagna is good, I'm going to keep making it, right?
Yeah.
But then what happens is I make the lasagna, I go out to Target, you and the girls are throwing the lasagna in the trash because it really
Mm.
isn't good. Well, then
Right.
tell me that it ain't good. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So my wife is a big proponent of listen, people like to buy people gifts. But how many times do they really think about the person that they're buying the gift for to actually get the person what the person wants and not buying them something that you want to buy them? So, all right, I
Mm.
see God's got a red hat on. Maybe God likes red. You know what I'm saying? But because I like blue, I'm going to buy him a blue hat. Why?
Right.
Well, God should appreciate the fact that I got him something. No, we got to be more thankful. So, guess what? If you give me a gift that I'm not really feeling, if I feel like I can use it, cool. But if I can't use it, guess what I'm going to do? I'm gonna have to start giving it back to you. And I'm gonna let you
Right.
know it ain't personal. It's just not my thing. I'm just not feeling it. Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
And here's the example that I'll give for everybody to kind of, really understand this thing. We have to pay attention to the kind of people that we have in our lives
Mm-hmm.
because not everybody that's upfront, that's boasting, and that's loud, and that's there for all these different things are really the people that are going to have your back. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the people that are quiet who are sitting back, who are paying attention to what's going on, who, when you really need them, will be there. What's my
Mm.
point? I'm going to take you to the Bible. Okay, so there was a storm,
Come on
right?
now.
Jesus was in the boat, right? And the storm was going all crazy. And what happened, right? The disciples, they were all going to and fro, and everybody was wilding out. And what happened?
Bugging.
Jesus was in the cut, laying in the back,
Chilling.
sitting there chilling, right? And so they're all looking at each other like, yo, does he not know what's going on with this? And guess what? He's the one who cared the most about them. And he was just like, yo, I got y'all. You know what I'm saying? And again, what was he able to do? He was able to calm the storm. Now,
Yeah.
everybody out here walking in the world ain't Jesus, so they're not going to be able to stop the storms that are in your life, right? But pay attention to what Kenny was talking about. Who are the people that when you really need them are going to be there? And be careful that you don't look at the people who are loud in your life when everything's good, who always want to show up, always want to have a good time, always want to this. No, listen, Kenny and I don't hang out every day, but Kenny
Right.
already knows the number. He knows the
Right.
number. I got my peoples. I don't talk to them. There's my boy Ace. I do not talk to him every day. But I
Right.
already know that if I call and he picks up, he already knows how to get on the turnpike and make his way. I have no
Boom.
question about that. You know, so you got to figure out who are the people that you have in your life who, at the end of the day, you know, are really, really there to support you, meaning they're going to cry with you when you need them. They're going to
Hmm.
celebrate with you when you need them. They're going to check you when you need them.
Come
Because
on
don't be in
now.
my life and be a yes man. I need you to be in my life and tell me, yo, Nick, guess what, bro? You got a little something around your mouth. You got to fix that. Yo, the hat that you're wearing is old. You got to chuck that. Yo, your shirt is dirty. Fix that. I don't need you telling me I look good and then behind my back you laughing. Those people don't really are not there to support you. So we got to get this straight. We got to
Facts.
get this straight in our lives so that we can live better and be better.
Yeah.
Hey man,
Yo.
listen, that's why the inner circle is the inner circle. You should be able to talk to each other, and not in such a we talked about this before. Not in a malicious way, but even if you hurt their feelings, your relationship should stand that test of time.
Yeah.
You know what I
Amen.
mean? Because
Amen.
it's because you have their better interests in mind.
Right. Right. Yo, is it me? Real quick, is it me, or does every urban person got a friend named Ace?
listen, listen. If
Those
you
bars.
if you got a good one, that's his name. His name is Ace. If you got a good one.
Sure
Yo,
is.
everybody got a everybody black got a friend named Ace, bro. Like, hey yo,
Listen,
that's crazy, yo.
That's
But
real.
no, it's so real, right? And Josie and I learned a lot while we were in the hospital. We learned a lot about the people that were really down for us. When Christian got sick, we learned that even people at our dance studio. You know what I'm saying? Let me say this. Me and Nick met through dance, right? And he brought his daughter to our dance studio. I don't have the dance studio no more, but look what Nick is, and look what everybody else had. That's no shade to everybody else, but it's the simple fact that when times got rough, when times got hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Nick was there. You know what I'm saying? His wife was there. Like, we got that chicken pot pie, and I'm still waiting on that John like 3 years later. You know what I'm saying? But they still there. You feel me? But it's the fact is that, and even with Guy, yo, like, yo, can you take me to the airport? Just like, cause I couldn't, Josie or whatever, just little stuff, little things or whatever matter. And you get to evaluate people and you see where you're at with them, and they get to see where they're at with you. You know what I'm saying? So what we have to understand is that we can't be afraid to cut certain people off. And it's not saying that you got to be, hey yo, I'm not banging with you no more. You just know where you stand. You got to learn how to put people in their place. And I
right.
don't mean put them in their place as in like, hey, I'm going to scream at you and yell at you and tell you off. No, I need you to mentally put people in a category in your life. Like, okay, I know for a fact that I got homies that I ain't talked to in years, and I know where they stand, and I know what they're really about. And I know for a fact that if the tough get going and the going get tough, if they need me, they gonna call me. But I'm probably not gonna call them because I don't think that they're going to be there for me. I know the people that are going to be there for me. Therefore, I hang on to those people because I would be there for them in a heartbeat as well, too. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same for everybody. So we got to understand that we cannot be afraid to sit there and make an evaluation and distance ourselves from people that are not going to benefit us in the long haul. Because here's the real reality, right? I'm about to be 38. I don't know what 38 feels like until I actually get there, right? I don't know. I know what 37 feels like for the most part because I've been 37 for almost a year. So I know exactly what that is. But in this new season, in this new year, I'm going to be learning new things, and I need the people that are with me that are going to be willing to grow with me and go to the next level with me, not stay where I was at in 37, but be where I'm going to be at 38.
Here, you know what? Talking about willingness, right? what is our willingness to self-evaluate? Because if you're
Yeah.
going to evaluate your circle, you need to evaluate yourself, where you
Oh, that's good.
stand,
That's good.
where you stand, where you're at, where you've come from, where you are, and where you want to go.
Come
Right?
on now.
So you don't just want those people around you that are there for now. You don't just want people that you can glean from in the second, but you want those people that circle around you that is there for a purpose, right? Because your purpose may not be in the here and in the now. Your purpose
Right.
might be future. When I met Kenny, he was doing a praise dance on stage at church, and I just was like, brother, whatever you're doing, I need to be connected to it.
Mm.
And here we are years later in our purpose, right? So self-evaluated, I had to self-evaluate myself where I was and where I wanted to be. And I felt like our spirits were aligned. And
Yeah.
so here we are.
Here we are. Here
Listen,
we are.
and the thing that we got to understand, right,
Put
is
a bow on it, Nick.
people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? If somebody's in your life for a reason, don't try to have them in your life for a season. No, they only came for a particular reason.
Mm.
Engage with them for whatever that reason is, and then you got to be willing to let them go. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? If somebody's in your life for a season, it might have been your high school friend, your college friend, it might have been a work friend, whatever the case is. Sometimes people have seasons that come and go. There's somebody that I was really cool with. You know what I'm saying? We had a pretty decent relationship. But what I realized is that when the relationship came to an end, it came to an end because it was for a season.
Mm,
That was it. You know,
mm,
now the people that are going to be there for a lifetime, it's not always going to be hundreds and thousands of people. You know what I'm saying? It may be a select few. You know what I'm saying? Jesus had his 12 disciples, but then he had the inner circle that we're talking about, you know what I'm saying, of three. You know, and so you may have that inner circle of three or four that are going to be there for a lifetime. And that's okay. You know, we got to pay attention to what are those relationships and realize what are they. In some relationships, you're the giver. In some relationships, you're the taker. In other
mm,
relationships, it's reciprocity. I'm going to give sometimes and I'm going to take sometimes. But you got to
Mhm.
understand what each one of those relationships are and be careful because if you think about it, as your kids grow up, right, you are the giver, they are the takers.
mhm.
As they continue to get old and you continue to get old, there starts to be aspects of reciprocity, right? Because it goes from mom and dad are buying lunch to your kid telling you, oh, dad, I bought you lunch today. You bought me what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bought you lunch today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then it comes to the point where now your kid is the one that's buying you lunch all the time and changing your diapers and telling you when you need to take your medication and telling you when you need to go exercise. Whereas there was that time when you were telling them when they needed to go exercise and they need to take their medication. So you got to
Amen.
realize that that transition happens, right? And because it does, we got to pay attention to what stage of life am I in at that point so that you can embrace it rather than saying, no, it's always going to be this way. It's not always going to be a certain way, you know?
Right.
And so as those relationships evolve, we have to pay attention to it. Because again, if we don't understand where we're at, and that's something that y'all are always going to hear from me, understanding helps to build a solid foundation.
There it
If
is.
you're
Mm.
not working on understanding, you're not building a solid foundation. All you're doing is just reacting to things. You got
Yep.
to stop reacting and start paying attention to how do I respond,
Yep.
Right.
right? And so that's
Yep.
where we want to get to. So when we talk about building a solid foundation, build it on what you understand about who you are, who the people are around you, and about
Yep.
the life that you're living.
Yep.
Amen.
Leaders
Amen.
process. Leaders
Amen.
process. Leaders
Yeah.
process. Got to process.
Amen. Amen. Listen up, y'all. This I thought this was an amazing conversation. Let us know what you guys felt in the chat. Let us know if you guys are getting value out of tonight, y'all. Let us know if you're getting value out of tonight. Listen, I thought this was awesome. Let us know if you guys want us to build on this type of conversation even more. And go ahead and send in your topics. What is it that you guys want us to talk about in the form of leadership, in form of faith, in the form of family? All right. Faith, family, and leadership is what we are all about. Josie says, like Tony the
Funny.
Tiger. Yeah, we're great. Awesome. Awesome. I love it, babe. So, guys, listen, make sure you guys go ahead and send this out to your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your grandpa, abuela, abuelo. Send it out to everybody that needs to hear this message, because I believe that we're all going through a storm, and you know somebody that's going through a storm. So go ahead and be a good Samaritan and send this live stream to them, and make sure that you go ahead and bless their life. That's all. Just share it with someone. If it added value to your life, added value to someone else's life. With that being said, all right, next week, everybody, we got a special guest coming up and everything as well too. So we will make sure that we get you guys the information on who that is going to be. This person has a very, very special testimony to go ahead and share with us. She has a book coming out, and you guys got to make sure you go ahead and listen up to the stories on my Instagram and on my Facebook feed, and you guys will make the announcement and everything this weekend. All right. That being said, listen, next week, y'all, is the Man Woman of the Year campaign. All right, Man Woman of the Year campaign. So we go on hard body, y'all. So we're gonna be asking for those donations. We're gonna be asking for people to
put that ticker back up. Put that ticker back up. Put that ticker back up. You had at the top. Yeah, put that ticker back up. Let everybody know.
Listen, Man and Woman of the Year campaign. Your boy Kenneth Allen Thomas is nominated for Man of the Year, and our goal is to raise as much money as possible to raise money for cancer, for leukemia and lymphoma. So if you're at work, if you want to join our team, if you want to be a part of the team, okay, here, I'm going to put a link right here. You guys can go to this link right here. You guys maybe want to copy it, paste it, whatever, do what you do, but you guys can go to this link and you can join my team and be a part of what it is that we are trying to do to raise money for childhood cancer and blood cancer all around the United States, all right, and help others that are fighting today. All right. With that being said, guys, listen, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Fellas, until next week, all right, it's going down in Chinatown. Guy, you got to get at least 6. I need 6.
Guy. Let's go, guy. Let's go. Let's go. You said you're doing 4 right now, right? You said 4? All right, let's get to 5. Let's get to 5. Once we get to 5, we building blocks, all right? 5, and then we're gonna get to 6.
So don't go to sleep at 2 a.m. Don't go to sleep at 2 a.m., bro.
Appreciate
don't do it. Just don't do it. All right.
Appreciate you.
One love, everybody. Listen, like we always say, when we change the mind, we change the game. Yesterday was all tomorrow worry about itself, and today is all we got. I'm Kenneth Allen Thomas. That's Nick. That's Guy. We see y'all later. Peace.
We living out the good life, yeah. I ain't gotta worry about a thing. Oh no. Had some obstacles I overcame. Oh yeah. You don't have to ever be the same. Oh Lord. Cause when we change the mind, we change the game.